I could sit here for 2 hours and tell you recruiting stories of kids that we've gotten or kids that we've become interested in or whatever you want to say it, based on us, either them sending us the information or them coming to camp, getting on our stuff. And you're like, yeah, that kid. I think right now for us, it's really a competitive advantage. I mean, I can think of 7 or 8 kids in our program right now that may not have been in the program if it wasn't for some variation of tech.
That's a big statement.
I mean, I'll tell you this one. This is a really good story, and I'll get this clip on signing day and put it out there. But we had a kid, a pitcher that's coming to us, sent us an email about 2 months ago. Big kid that's really athletic. Click on the video link. She's 60 to 62. They're like, okay. I just email her and says, hey, do you have anything? And she's like, well, my dad bought me a DK ball. Like, I can throw with that and send it. And it's like, okay, that's a start. So she sends the DK ball stuff over, and it's 14 to 1,700, and you're like, okay. So then they email back, says, okay, send me your schedule. Want to come see you throw. So we go see her throw, and 60 to 62, but everything's like this. And she can't get any swings and misses. She can't get anybody out. And it's like, okay, but it did say 1,400. She's throwing a lot of strikes. She's not walking people. She's throwing the ball.
So it's just huge spin, but just gyro.
Just gyro. Everything's gyro. So like Ronnie, your pitching coach, is like, it's like, I don't know. She's like, I'm watching, but everything's screwball. Like, did she throw anything else? I was like, I have no idea. Like, dude, I just emailed the kid. So don't worry about it. Go see. So we see her throw the following weekend. Same exact thing. I think she was like 59 to like 60. Just gyro. Can't get anybody out. No swings and misses. And you're like, man, geez, I thought we might have had one here. Well, kid signs up for camp. So she comes to camp, and Ronnie's like, all right, like, seeing you throw twice. Do you throw anything other than screwball? And she's like, well, actually, she's like, I'm curve rise change. She's like, this is the most that I've thrown my screwball, since I've been pitching in select ball. So Ronnie's like, okay, so we're gonna throw a bullpen, no screwballs, curve rise change. Dude, this kid starts like I had to come out of the cage with the session. I had to come out of my cage to go to the bullpen to watch it. She starts ripping curveballs 1,500 going across at 7. Low spin change at like 780 goes down 6. +2 lifter at like 1,350. You're like, why don't you throw this in the game? She's like, my coach just doesn't call it. It's like, dude, this is really good. It's like, okay, do it again tomorrow. So she does it again, the same exact thing tomorrow in scrimmage. I mean, you're standing there watching behind home plate, and the ball looks like it's moving this much across the zone, going both directions. You're like, all right, bro, this is pretty good. What y'all want to do? It's like, we really weren't prepared to do something right here. Okay, so we had to go figure it out, and so we ended up getting her. But it was simply the case of kid was throwing the wrong pitch. It's simply the case of it. Really good, just throwing the wrong stuff. She got with somebody, they showed her, hey, you should probably do this. And it went from like, and I don't know, to like, we're taking this one ASAP.
So do you think that sometimes the data clouds people's ability to decide on stuff and say, like, fundamentally the game still is about getting people out and scoring more points than the other team? Mm-hmm. Do you think that happens now in softball a little bit too?
I don't think it's gotten to that point yet. I mean, if you use it correctly, like, okay, I take this is going to give me another piece of information I didn't have, and fit it inside the fundamental of the game, it's going to always help you. It's when you go one way or the other, and I think that's where you can start to get down the wrong rabbit holes. I think you could use it like that. I try to use it to let it tell me where the player is and where I think that player needs to go. I've seen many people take kids and think that kids should be something that they're not because they didn't have all the information on them. I know that's one thing that HitTrack has helped me with. I hear this sometimes when I'm out recruiting is, well, you can only go to UTSA if you're a power hitter. It's like, well, that's not necessarily true. Like, everyone's not going to hit for a bunch of thump, and you can't have a lineup full of 9 that's just all hitting. Like, you need some other pieces. But I allow the tech to tell me, okay, if I need an outfielder, if I'm looking for a center fielder, I'm probably looking for someone that can run a little bit more, still need to have a little bit of juice to the bat, but I know I'm probably not going to get a kid that's 68 to 70. Like, that's a power 5 kid. But if I can find an outfielder that's in that, maybe that's 62 to 64 range, well, that's a kid that I can take. But I know from the beginning, okay, this kid's not going to hit for a bunch of thump. So I don't expect this kid to hit for thump. So I'm not upset if this kid comes in, maybe she gives you 275 with 2 or 3, plays really good center field. You're like, that's exactly what I was looking for, versus I didn't know those things. Well, I think she should hit more home runs, or I think she should hit for more. That kid may not have it in the tank. So you have expectations set on this kid that they can't ever achieve. So in your mind, maybe subconsciously, you're coaching them to achieve these marks that the kid's never going to reach. So you get frustrated. The kid gets frustrated because you're always on them, when if you just had the information, you'd have known off the hand, okay, this is probably what you're getting right here. When that kid, let's coach that kid, let's guide that kid in that direction. And when they put up those types of numbers, know that you got exactly what you want. Like, that's no different than once I got the information on the kid that made the all-freshman team. I knew that kid wasn't going to hit a bunch of home runs, but I needed that kid to have enough to keep the outfield back so they didn't smother and she could drive balls over your head if you were like, oh, she's small, let's play in. That's as much juice as I needed her to have. That's as much juice as she had. Perfect. I'm getting exactly what I wanted.